Now, the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
Intercepted.
When I watched the film, I saw things that are absolutely correctable.
Morgan down the sideline toward the end zone, and it is caught. Touchdown, Minnesota.
When you're not getting the results that you want or that you need to have, and you're not willing to make changes, that is a problem.
Thorne dancing around, nowhere to go. He's heading down to the ground. It's a sack.
It's hard to be optimistic when you see things that you can't fix, you can't correct, there's no solutions, and so I do see solutions for the issues that we have.
After giving up more than 500 yards of total offense for a second straight week, Michigan State's football team is putting its nose to the grindstone in order to fix an array of issues ahead of Saturday's showdown in College Park against Maryland, because the Terps' offense is just as potent as Washington and Minnesota's. Maryland is 9th in the nation in yards per play and 3rd in the Big Ten, only behind Ohio State and Michigan. And as you'll hear, Mel Tucker is hoping to turn the tide. All things considered, you seem to be in a pretty lighthearted mood going into the Maryland game.
I see some smiles out there. Y'all licking your chops or what? Like I said, I'm optimistic and I'm determined. I wouldn't necessarily think that it's lighthearted, but I am optimistic.
What is it that you have seen then? You said you're big, obviously, you want to watch the film. That's something that you made very clear after the game against Minnesota. But after watching it, what is making you feel optimistic and also determined? Because you used that word at least 3 times in your press conference.
When I watched the film, I saw things that are absolutely correctable. You know, adjustments, you know, alignments, there's technique, you know, assignment sound things, and so that's a good sign. It's hard to be optimistic when you see things that you can't fix, you can't correct, there's no solutions, and so I do see solutions for the issues that we have.
After the game against Minnesota and not commenting on what happened, how much of that has to do with the neutral thinking that your friend Trevor Moawad really instilled in you?
Yeah, it's a big part of it. You know, Trevor, God rest his soul, would always talk about neutral thinking, and a big part of neutral thinking is, you know, you need information. You need to know the facts. You need to know the truth, and really, you know, without judgment. I'm not saying if it's right or wrong, good or bad, just looking at it for what it is. In the videotape does that, and it has no sound, so it's very clear on what the situation is, and then based upon what you know, then you can decide what is the next right step to take, or what are the next right steps to take. And so that's my approach.
You mentioned that you have a high level of confidence in your coaching staff. What makes you feel that way as you go into this Maryland game, and what have you seen from them after the Minnesota game that has stood out, or how they're trying to fix the issues?
Yes, because of demonstrated ability. You know, I've been down this path with this coaching staff before. Some of the coaches I've been with at other places, and have gone through adversity with them. So I know that I can trust them. I know how they're going to respond to adversity. And the response from the coaching staff has been outstanding since the end of the game all the way through Sunday, and it's been nothing but professionalism and sense of urgency, attention to detail, and determination.
Can you give us a little bit more insight as to what they're doing a little more clearly?
Yeah, so you know, the first thing we do is evaluate the personnel and making sure that we have the right guys in the right places, as well as evaluating the scheme to make sure that we're sound. We have to evaluate, you know, are we putting our guys in the best positions to make plays and to win? We're doing that in all 3 phases, and scheme evaluation is a big part of that. You know, sometimes we have to adjust our scheme to put guys in better positions, or to make more plays, or to be more productive. And so I see the level of scheme evaluation is very precise, and the adjustments are being made, you know, behind the scenes, to put our players in the best situation, and that is critically important because that's part of coaching. That's why they call us coaches. When you're not getting the results that you want or that you need to have, and you're not willing to make changes, that is a problem. And I see, myself and also the staff willing to make the necessary changes.
What is the biggest thing? I mean, just because obviously offense got off to a slow start, Minnesota, Washington, how much of that has to do with time of possession that the opposing team is on the field? Because in the Minnesota game, they're out there for 25 more minutes than you guys. Yeah,
and that's important because the offense needs to have the ball. They need to be able to get into a rhythm. They need to have an opportunity to score, and they can't score if they don't have the ball. And so, and oftentimes, the run game, it's about opportunities. Sometimes you get a little, then you get a lot, and then you get more, and then that's how it gets going. But if we're not able to start fast on offense, and then they sit, on the bench for another, 8 or 9 minutes before they get the ball, then, the opportunities to move the ball, to run the ball, to score are just not there.
Do you think then that is contributing to just kind of how stagnant the offense has been the last couple of games?
That's part of it. It's because it's complementary football. Offense, defense, and special teams working together.
Prior to the Minnesota game, Tucker said there would be some personnel changes, and he did make a switch at the nickel spot, replacing Chester Kimbrough for Justin White. And there will be more this Saturday against Maryland. They're trying to get the young players up to speed, so be on the lookout for some fresh new faces at 3:30 p.m. And we're going to introduce you to one of them when we come back.
As we go to break, Farm Bureau Insurance invites you to register to win an exclusive private dinner with head coach Tom Izzo. Go to InsideTheGreensweeps.com to register.
Are you thinking about switching financial institutions or opening a new account? Make the change to MSU Federal Credit Union today. MSU FCU focuses on our members and the community, offering free checking, free financial education, low loan rates, and cashback credit cards. Plus, accessing your account is easy with our mobile app, at a branch, or by visiting one of over 5,000 shared branches across the country. Make the change today. MSU FCU, building dreams together.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
When a team is in the midst of a 2-game losing streak like Michigan State is right now, it is often hard for the players and coaches to relax and enjoy themselves. However, if there's one player on the Spartans roster who is sure to lighten the mood, it is offensive lineman Spencer Brown. He sat down with our Ian Kress, and as you'll see, the redshirt junior is sure to bring a smile to your face.
On the Jumbotron, they'll put you guys up and you pop up and you have a laugh that is just very infectious. Where did that come from for you?
Just being blessed, man. I feel like I had a gift to bless other people. That smile is contagious and it helps brighten other people's day. I'm glad I kind of had that effect, but I just always had it. I just love to joke, have a good time.
You got a favorite joke you like to crack with the guys?
No, I got to switch it up every time. I got to switch it up every time, man. I got to switch it up every time. I'm on the fly. On the fly.
So how do you come up with some of them, the jokes?
I might roast you on what you look like, what you got on, personalities like coach impressions, anything like anybody impressions, man. I just love to have a good time.
So if you were to roast me right now, what would you say? You can be honest.
Ian. Oh man, I don't know. I like the swag though. I definitely like the side. I can't really roast you right now, man.
I appreciate it. All right, thank you, Spencer.
No doubt.
He'll get the handoff straight ahead. End zone. Touchdown.
Now when Spencer isn't cracking jokes, he's creating holes at the line of scrimmage for his running backs to run through.
Touchdown, Michigan State.
Who would you say inspired you to pursue football and become a D1 athlete here at MSU?
My older brother, He's like 10 years older than me, played D2 at Grand Valley, then played at Trine D3 school, but I always wore his jersey, always looked up to him, always wanted to be just like him. I got a younger brother that plays at NIU, safety.
Intercepted by Brown. NIU flips the field for a touchdown.
So I just feel like I was just blessed into it, and this is my life.
Who was the better athlete at football between your brothers?
Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. It's me. It's me all day. Must see TV.
That's right. How often do you get to see your brothers? Obviously, you're pretty busy here, but how often do you get to see them or just talk with them?
Well, I FaceTime my older brother every day. That's all the time. My little brother, since I grew up with him, we did everything together. I don't really FaceTime him as much, but I see the scores and see his games, and I just call after each week, see how he's doing, make sure he's okay. But they come to my games as much as they can. If I have a bye week, well, once I have my bye week, I try to see what's up to see my little brother. But other than that, my fam try to make it out as much as they can.
What does your older brother do right now? Obviously, he's not playing, is he?
No, he's out in he stays out in Colorado. He's doing his thing out there. Just welcomed in his new son, so I got a new nephew now. And that's it, man. Living life out there.
Yeah, what's that like, having a nephew?
Blessing. It's weird because when I see him, it's cool, but I can only see him on FaceTime most of the time. But it's really cool. They was out there to the Washington game, running around, playing after the game. So that was cool, man. Picking them up, throwing them up in the air.
Obviously, you know, coming off a tough loss with the Washington, how does having that moment with your nephew and your family, how does that change your perspective on just life in general after football or outside of football?
The ball stops. It can stop at any moment. Like I said, all we can do is take one day at a time, and it just helps you understand life is bigger than football. So having them precious moments, you never know when it's your last day. So always cherish everything.
Brown attended Walled Lake High School, and he's not the only Michigan native who's excelling in the green and white. Another one can be found on the pitch, and her name is Cameron Evans. She graduated from Flint Powers, and as you'll hear when we come back, a life-altering moment during her high school career is what motivated her to come to East Lansing.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
The MSU women's soccer team is off to its first undefeated start in Big Ten play since 2015, and a lot of it has to do with the Spartans' offensive prowess. Earlier this month, they notched back-to-back hat tricks by two different players, and one of them was Cameron Evans. She's one of the leaders of the squad this year, and as she shared with our Haley Schoengart, she has some unfinished business she'd like to take care of in her final season in the green and white.
White's ball in, deep, Cook. Now Evans is there. Evans!
In year one of the Jeff Hostler era, the Michigan State women's soccer team had an impressive turnaround, resulting in the team's first winning season since 2015. But after a heartbreaking ending, Cameron Evans knew her time in the green and white wouldn't end there.
And then we just had like an incredible experience last year. Just like everything leading up to it, and the preseason and how we performed, and then that final waiting and watching in the draw for the NCAA tournament, and then not seeing our name get picked, I was like, I'm not finished.
In 2022, Evans has been playing at another level, and when the Spartans welcomed number 19 Colorado to town, not only did Michigan State top the ranked Buffaloes, but Evans got sweet revenge when she notched a hat trick of her own, making her the fourth Spartan in program history to do so.
They came here my freshman year and gave us the work, so I felt like it was only fair on my way out that I returned the favor. It was one of those things that you just kind of don't think about it, you just go and do, and at the end of the game, I was just like, we did that. The hat trick doesn't happen without the people around me, so just be able to hug them and celebrate and know that collectively we just beat the number 19 ranked team in the country, and not only beat them, but made a statement with the win.
And there's someone that hasn't been able to witness kind of what you've been doing here, your dad. Tell me a little bit about him.
So, I mean, my dad was the guy that got me into soccer. He got me playing when I was about 4. In 2018, he had an aneurysm and passed away a couple weeks later. So it was right before I graduated high school, so he has not gotten to see me play, but like in a way he has. I know he's around. I wear tape on my wrist every game with his initials, and then there's like always a little orange band on my ankle, which is his name, on my bracelet, and I always wear it.
How do you carry his legacy? I mean, obviously you wear his initials and your orange band, but what pieces of him do you think that you still carry in the game of soccer with you every single day, every time you put on your uniform and every time you go out there on the field?
He was the most hardworking person I've ever met, and was like just like a very selfless person as well. So like I try and take that with me to just give everything I got no matter what. And like his big speech to me before every game was like relentless. Like the word you need to embody is relentless. And like that's what I try and do every time I play.
What do you think he would say to you if you could see him now? What do you think he would say to you about, you know, the Colorado game, your entire career as a Spartan?
I think after the Colorado game, he'd ask why I waited so long for that hat trick. I think he'd be like, why did you wait till your 5th year to do that? We could have had a few more. But I think he'd just be really proud in general. I mean, I've done it. I've worked really hard to be where I am and for this team and just in general, and I think he would be really proud of the person that I've grown into being today.
And for Evans, the heartbreaking emotions from last season have only been fuel as she rounds out her time as a Spartan.
I want to make a run. I mean, I want to, again, like I said, I think this team can play with just about anybody. Like, I've yet to see a team that has come here or we've gone there that I've been like, wow, like we can't compete. Like, Arkansas, we were right in that game, and they just capitalized, but we were there. We were making our plays. We were making them nervous. Like, I want to make a run. I want to make a statement. I want to leave here knowing that I gave absolutely everything I can to this program, everything I have, and that we left because somebody was truly just a better team. We've definitely played teams with a lot of talent, but I think that we are just a team that we're something special. We're something to be watched.
Evans and the Spartans' next home match isn't until October 9th, but it's going to be a biggie because they host rival Michigan right here at DeMartin Stadium. And who better to hear from now than second-year head coach Jeff Hostler. He chats with us when we come back.
Closed captioning sponsored by Hearing Life, helping Spartans love their ears. With 41 locations across Michigan, go to hearinglife.com to take a free online hearing test. Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
Growing up in East Lansing, Michigan State women's soccer coach Jeff Hostler always dreamed of being a Spartan, and now 20 years later, his dream has become a reality. He is in his second season at the helm at MSU, and after dominating in the GLIAC with Grand Valley for years, he wants nothing more than to do the same in the Big Ten. He chats with our Nick Mantis about his journey to get here, as well as his impressive footwear.
So, Coach, when you think about coming into this season, what have you seen from this team so far this year that's been kind of a sign that you guys are taking another step?
Yeah, I think it really goes back to the offseason, you know, the work that we did in the spring semester. You know, we brought in 6 transfers, so 6 new faces to integrate to our group. You know, I've been thrilled with the way things have gone. First and foremost, we came into preseason camp healthy. Every player on our roster came into camp ready to go, fit, and that allowed us to get off to the right, you know, off on the right start in the fall. Because we didn't have to worry about the fitness piece. We could focus on the tactics and the roles and the style of play. At the end of the day, regardless of how much talent you have, you got to be able to outwork your opponent in some ways or out-execute. And I think it's just continuing to establish that belief.
Coming off his first season in charge, which saw the Spartans win double-digit matches for the first time in 10 years, but failing to make the NCAA tournament, how have the goals changed for the program?
In year 2, helping understand how to set some of these goals, because there's a great risk if you start setting out like we got to hit a certain amount of wins, or we got to finish this place in Big Ten, or we got to win a Big Ten championship, or we got to make the NCAA tournament. We don't control those things as we learned from last year. So it's just about putting out your best performances. The standard is the standard, you know, both in how we perform and what the scoreboard shows at the end of the match. And if we're not going to make the NCAA tournament, it's not going to be because we didn't play the right schedule. You know, the games we did were intentional. Not only prepared us for our season, but gave us good opportunity with the RPI. Now we just got to keep getting W's.
Coach Hostler has been teaching his coaching beliefs in mid-Michigan for almost 20 years, starting his coaching career at at East Lansing High School.
When you were at East Lansing, were there moments where you kind of looked around and been like, you know, either coming to MSU games and saying, oh man, that would be nice someday, and now to come back and to be here, is this kind of just been a moment of kind of a full circle type of experience for you at all?
It is, every day. We grew up with season tickets to, you know, basketball games here in Jenison. I was never good enough to play soccer or basketball here as a player. I'm just, you know, every day grounded by that fact that I'm just trying to prove I'm good enough to coach here and building this program.
The rumor on the street is that you also are a sneakerhead. Is that true, and what is your favorite sneaker that you own?
Yeah, it's definitely true.
Okay.
I'm about like the 400 pairs of sneaker range, so it's a bit out of control. My wife will be the first to tell you that.
You have like a storage locker? Like
I have an actual room.
Okay.
Committed to it.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little embarrassing to say, but
how big is the room? 10 by 8? Like, what are we talking here?
Yeah, we're talking, about a 10 by 8 room.
Okay.
It is kind of, when we first got our house here in East Lansing, it was formerly like a kid's craft room. But my wife did say when we first went down there, this would be perfect for your shoe room, so I didn't let her take that back.
Wife knows you best.
And I took full advantage.
There you go.
I'm a big Jordan 1, Jordan 3. Have a lot of Dunks, a lot of Air Max 90s. A lot of it's going back to the shoes I could never afford growing up, and I saw everybody else wearing and playing in, and you know, I've got a certain rotation that's in the office, and it's just another level of different connection you can have. I mean, I still remember when I talked about I was 25-year-old head coach. I remember watching The Hills on MTV because I knew the players watched it, and just being able to connect on something outside of the soccer and ask them to put in more work. But we'll always have those things in common in terms of the competitiveness, and I just lost for the first time to a player in the game of horse. You know, I played D3 basketball and soccer, and 17-year streak just got broken by one of our freshmen, Maggie Illig, who not only beat me but lit me up.
Okay.
And of course we ran it back and she lit me up again. So
just to make sure she got you.
Yeah, like officially, I think that competition's over because I don't think my ego can take it.
All right. Well, as long as you still got them on sneakers, you're going to be all right.
Yeah, I'll be all right.
For those of you who may not know this, Hostler succeeds Tom Saxton, who coached the Spartans for 30 years. So this truly is a new era of Spartan soccer in East Lansing. As always, we hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show. Have a happy and healthy weekend.